Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa Belinda and on this channel I help conscious glow getters just like you navigate the beauty and wellness jungle. In today's video, I just want to play with makeup. If you watched my previous video, you know that I am pregnant and I have been feeling very nauseous and very bad for the past months. So I have just not had any energy at all to put on makeup, barely to get out of bed, to be honest. So I'm just craving makeup. And honestly, I've had this obsession over everything sparkly lately. I think I've just been out of it for so long that I'm like, I need the sparkle. I want glitter eyeshadow. I want a sparkly gloss. I want it all. Give it all to me. So in this video, I'm just going to do a gorgeous, glamorous makeup that I haven't done in such a long time. And I'm gonna play with some products, some trusted and loved products, as well as some new discoveries for me. So if that sounds like fun, then keep on watching. So for the base, I want to use my ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint. If you watched my channel before, you know I love this product. I am a little worried that this might be too dark for me now because I haven't used it since summer, and as you can see, I am matching my drawers and my wall. I never used this with a primer because I just haven't had a great experience with this product and a primer, but then I feel like I have kind of large pores here around my nose, so I would like to try so I would like to try to put a little amount of primer in those areas. Pray for me, because you never know how this product is going to react with a primer. So let's see. So I want to try this primer I got a tester from Bareminerals. This is the original Prime Time. I'm pretty sure I've tried this in the past. It's been around for a long time. And I think I liked it, but I don't remember. It was years ago. So I do want to try it. Okay, so it's a completely clear, silicone-y texture kind of a primer. I actually don't know how my skin looks in the camera. It's so hard to see. I just have the tiny little monitor next to the camera. I don't have a big one. So I don't know how my skin looks in the camera. I also have these lights, and I know that kind of tends to smooth out the skin. But I will say this, my skin has been looking better since I got pregnant. I know it's so different for everyone. Some people get more acne because of the hormones. Some people get clearer, smoother skin. And that can of course also change. But so far my skin has actually been really good. I don't really get a lot of acne anymore. I do have a little bit of redness. I still have some old acne scars and kind of large pores on my nose and a little bit on my forehead. So that is something I do want to kind of smooth out when I'm doing my makeup. This primer feels so nice. I mean, it definitely has a slight mattifying, blurring effect. I've been using the Tarte smoothing primer for a long time, and that one is almost I like it on its own, but it tends to not go well with any foundation or anything. It's just a little bit too thick, too silicone-y, so I find that anything I put on just kind of slides off. So we will see how this one acts, because it is also a silicone-y primer. Alright, pray for me. I am honestly a bit scared how this product is going to react. I barely have anything left. I'm not gonna do too much. I will do quite a thin layer because I do think it is a little dark for me. Just have to get my hair out of the way. In my experience, this product applies the best with fingertips. I have tried with a beauty blender, with a damp beauty blender, with a brush, but I find that it can get kind of streaky or just uneven if you apply it with any tools. So I just find fingers is the best way for this one. Okay, I am actually happily surprised. It actually applies really nice on top of the primer. And one tip, if you are going somewhere, if you're doing your makeup for an event or party or whatever, don't try a new combination of primer and foundation. Because even if you love two products separately, it does not mean that they are going to go nice together. I have done that mistake a few times, but this is actually a really good combo. And that's actually impressive because, like I said, this one barely goes together with any other primer, at least no primer that I have used. I do feel like the skin tint tends to oxidize a little bit, so it usually gets a little darker on the skin after a little while, but I think I can get away with it even though it is a little dark for me. These lights are also very forgiving. Alright, nice and even. And now let's move on to concealer. I'm going to use two different ones. The KOSAS Revealer Concealer. If you watched my KOSAS review video, you know that I absolutely love this one. Like, I'm obsessed with this one. But it is also slightly too dark for me now, at least to use like for the brightening parts. And I will also be using the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. This one is quite light, so I will be using this one just to brighten up under my eyes. So let's start with the KOSAS concealer, where I just need to cover up a little bit more redness. I'm just gonna go in straight with the wand. What I like about this concealer is that it never gets cakey, so maybe you think it looks like I apply kind of a lot on my face. It just blends so nicely with the skin, and it's so hydrating and moisturizing. It's almost like, well, it is basically eye cream slash concealer in one, so it is very nourishing to the skin. So it never gets like crusty or dry. And now I'm going to blend that out with this brush from Juice Beauty. This has such a unique angle and it's perfect for applying foundation or concealer to the face. And I just kind of buff it so I don't get any streaks. And now I'll just use my fingers for the little crevices. Okay, on my neck, you can definitely see that the concealer is too dark for me. All right, now we'll go in with the Hourglass concealer. And this one, I kind of have mixed opinions about this. It's good for under the eyes in a very small amount, and if you work it in kind of fast. So I'm gonna do one eye at a time. It just tends to get a little dry and crusty if you use too much of it, or for me, I can't use it like on my face. I can, but I can like cover up a zit, like just a little tiny dot. But if I use it like I did the KOSAS just now on larger areas, it gets super crusty and dry and just horrible. And it's quite full coverage, so it is good. Like if you have something that you really need to cover up, some redness or dark circles, it does the job. All right, I mean, you can see the difference on this eye and on this eye. It is good. So I just need one dot here, one dot here. No huge triangle and stuff like that. I never do that. I just feel like it's way too much concealer. But especially with this product, you do not want to overdo it. And I like to go in with a brush afterwards, just evening it out. And this brush is also really good for under the eyes because it has that unique angle that it just kind of fits perfectly. This day is so weird. It feels like it's morning. It's 12 o'clock now. What do you call it when the, ow, I bit my tongue. Oh my god, I'm such a train wreck. Where was I? What do you call it when you change the time, when it goes from summertime to wintertime? I don't know what the English word is, but that just happened today. Technically, it's 1 o'clock in my head, but it's just 12. All right, so the base is laid down and now I'm going to powder. I'm going to use the Cloud Set powder from KOSAS, another KOSAS product that I absolutely love. I was so impressed with a lot of the KOSAS products that I tried, but the concealer and this powder is like my favorite. I use them before I stopped using makeup and I was feeling bad. I was using them like every day. All right, so I'm gonna go in with this, I have washed off the name of my brushes. Okay, this is actually a contour highlight brush from Roen, but it's good for powder because it's like fluffy, but a little smaller, so you have a little bit more control. I'm just gonna swirl that in there. I think my first impression of this powder was like, I didn't really know what to say about it, but the more I've been using it, the more I've just fallen in love with it. It does really blur the skin without giving that powdery, dry look. And now let's do a little light contouring slash bronzing. I'm gonna go in with one of my all-time favorite bronzers from Idun Minerals. I have the shade Sommardröm. This is a Swedish brand. It's so good. They have so many amazing products. I don't know if they're sold outside of Scandinavia. If so, I will link it below if I can find also an international site. And I'm gonna apply it with this big powder brush from Roen. I like to use that when I don't want like contour, but just still frame my face. It just gives a little bit more of a smoother look, not so angled. I'm just gonna rub that in there. Tap it off. I mean, this is just a perfect shade for me. And you can use it for both bronzing and contouring because it's like not too warm and not too cold. Some contouring products are just very gray, which I don't think is flattering to anyone, any face at all. But then some bronzers tend to be a little too orangey, and that doesn't really look good for contouring. But this is just the perfect shade. The one negative thing about this is that I think it comes in like 2 shades, which is just not enough. Like they don't have a shade that's dark enough. Well, if you're darker than me, I think they have 1 darker shade than this one. I think this is the lightest one. But if you have really deep skin, then they don't have a good shade for that, so that's definitely a big minus. It's not very inclusive. Hopefully they will update it. They might already have added more shades. I hope so, because this is such a beautiful product that everyone should experience, and it's just so easy to work with. You never have to be afraid to put too much. Just blends so nice. And then sometimes I just pinch the brush like this if I want like just a little more like of a contour, then I get more of a sharper edge, and then I just kind of tap off the excess and then brush it upwards just to smoothen it out. And if I feel like it went a little too far down, I'll just take a dry clean brush. Let's not forget the ears because they are white. And then I like to do just a little over the nose. No contouring, but just like to get a little color on the nose. Okie dokie, we are bronzed. Now let's move on to blush. I'm going to be using this one from Juice Beauty. This is the Phytopigments Last Looks Cream Blush in the shade Flush. I talked about this one in my top 3 favorite blush videos. If you haven't watched that video, to go and watch it because I give you, well, top 3 favorite cream blushes, and they are all really good, holy grail products. I just need a sip of this. I've discovered this strange sparkly tea. I don't think it's sugar-free, but it has like, it's not super sweet. It has some cane sugar, but it's like so fresh and tastes like hibiscus, and the can is so cute. I try not to eat too much sugar since getting pregnant because I have been so nauseous. Most days I've just had to eat whatever gets down. I haven't been able to be like the most healthy person. It's so funny like how naive you are before you get pregnant. Before I got pregnant, I was always thinking that, oh, when I'm pregnant, I'm going to live such a healthy lifestyle. I'm going to eat only like the most nutritious, have smoothies every morning, blah, blah, blah. And of course that's great if you can do that. But when you have that extreme nausea that I've had, still has actually, you can't be picky. Like I was not craving vegetables or smoothies. I wasn't really craving anything at all, but each day I would be like, I could eat that. And that's the only thing I could even imagine eating today. And usually that's like bread with butter or cup noodles, not nutritious stuff. And then I've had to kind of force vegetables in me. The baby is getting what I'm eating, like I'm giving the baby nutrients through what I'm eating, so I'm really doing my best, but it's not easy, and I've really had to work with my mind to just like cut myself some slack. I'm doing my best. It's been a little challenging. It's still a process. I don't even remember how I got into that. Oh yeah, that I'm trying to avoid sugar. Not avoid sugar, but just not going overboard, because you have a bigger risk of getting diabetes when you are pregnant. So my midwife told me to just not overdo it on the sugar, which I don't think I have. But when it comes to like sodas and stuff like that, they have so much sugar in them. And I'm not a soda person at all, but I just have a weird taste buds these days. But this drink is delicious. That was a very long story just to say that this drink is delicious. I've always been a person that tends to lose my train of thought, but it is definitely getting worse with the pregnancy brain. Alright, so I have been applying blush for the past millennium now, while I told my interesting story about sugar and my sparkly drink. This blush, the tone of this blush is just so darn flattering. That's gorgeous. And I really wanted to go for this like more dusty rose kind of a tone today, because I want to create a look that's like glamorous and sparkly and like a little rose goldy kind of a vibe. So like very glamorous, very glowing, but still very wearable. So we are blushed. Let's apply some highlighter and then we can move on to the eyes. And for the highlighter, I'm also going to use a product from Idun Minerals. This is actually an eyeshadow, but I use it also as a highlighter. It is so gorgeous as a highlighter. This is the shade Fjällsippa, and okay, it has a lot of fallout, like a lot. So you just have to be aware of that. But it's like the consistency, it's like very loosely pressed eyeshadow. It isn't a pan, it is a shadow, but when you press it, you can really like, it's cushiony. I'm going to go in with this little fan brush from Roen. Just gonna dip that in there, and you do get product all over your table, but it's honestly worth it. Like the glow is worth it. Just make sure to tap off the excess. Actually, I think I tapped off everything. Okay, I'm not gonna tap off the excess. Wow, angelic. I mean, wow, that highlighter is just stunning. I'm just gonna take a clean brush, just blending it out a little bit here. I mean, that glow, it's so gorgeous. I usually go for a cream highlighter, but this one is, I mean, it gives the same, I think it's because it's not powdery. Like, I don't feel like it emphasizes the pores at all. Of course, if you put it like in your T-zone, but that's not where you're supposed to put it. I mean, maybe a little on your nose, but like you wouldn't put it here or like here. But some powder highlighters, when you put them even here, I feel like they just make your skin look so like rough. They just really emphasize every single pore. This one doesn't do that. It just has that creamy texture, even though it is a powder, and that's why I love it so much. And it's also like the perfect type of highlight, in my opinion, like for my taste. I don't like when highlighters get like too metallic or glittery. I just want like a glow, a dewy sheen, and that's exactly what this gives. All right, I'm going to put a little bit on my nose as well. I like to just dip my finger for that. I have a little more control, and then I like to do like that and a little line here, and then I will just go in with a clean kabuki brush, just blending that out. Now we got ourselves cute little button nose. I like to do a little bit here on my upper lip, like on these two streaks, what do you call them, that goes from the nose to the lips, and on the cupid bow. My nose is so dry here. The concealer that I used is moisturizing, so it is the best I can use right now, but I just have like skin flaking under my nose. Maybe this is gross, maybe people don't want to hear this, but because I've been throwing up basically every day, and then, you know, everything tends, like the nose runs, everything is just like ugh. Long gross story short, I have been wiping my nose so much every day, and that's why I'm dry. And you don't need to know that, but now you do. All right, we are glowy, we are dewy. I'm going to do my brows, and then we will move on to eyes. I zoomed in a little bit so that you can see better what I'm doing. I'm going to be using this brow pencil, the Brow Power Micro from It Cosmetics. I don't think I would consider It Cosmetics like a clean brand. I mean, I know clean is not a regular term, and some brands call themselves clean even if they're not, and vice versa. I haven't used a lot of their products, and I'm all about clean beauty, but when it comes to some things like a brow pencil or like just something you use in a tiny amount, something that you don't ingest, sometimes I will get a product from another brand, as long as it is cruelty-free. That's like the one thing that I never make excuses for, but I just needed a brow pencil and I saw this one. Previously I was using this one, the Arch Micro Sculpting Pencil from Hourglass. It's really good, it's one of my favorites. It's so expensive though, and you get like no products in here, and I ran out of them so fast. So I was like, okay, let's try something else. So I've been using this one from It Cosmetics. I have the shade Universal Taupe, and it's just a perfect shade for my brows, and it has a very thin tip, which I love. You can make like brush strokes. So let's just get started on the brows. Alright, the brows are filled in. What I love about this pencil is that it has this brush part on one side, just like the one from Hourglass. So you can easily, I mean, of course, you can also just use an external spoolie brush, but it's just nice to have everything in one product. And you might have noticed that this girl needs to pluck her brows. I just realized. I mean, I'm all about fluffy brows and I never want to over pluck my brows. I stopped going to like professional salons to get my brows done because I felt like they took too much. I just don't trust people with my brows, not even the best people. That means I need to take care of my brows myself, but I have definitely neglected them. So I want to keep my brows nice and full, but as you can see, like I have some random hairs growing down to my freaking eyelid. That's just not cute. But I'm also not gonna pluck them now because then I will be all red and I don't wanna put makeup on right after plucking my brows. So we're just gonna have to roll with it. Alrighty, let's move on to eyes. So I wanted to do nice, like rosy, sparkly look. Some products that I have been loving lately is the eyeshadows from Roen. These are like from another world. They're like so unique. So I have the 1111 palette, and then I have one of the single shades also, which is Summer Disco. I mean, look at that golden. I'm not gonna use the Summer Disco today, but I just want to swatch it for you. So all of their shadows have this like really unique texture. It's like a cream, but it's like kind of hard. So it's like a cream with like kind of chunky glitter inside. It's just, I don't know, it's just unique. You can really build it up. Like you can do like, you can easily like blend it out if you want more of like a wash of color or like a wash of glitter. Or you can really like pack it on if you want that like sparkle to the moon kind of vibe. But we're gonna play with the 1111 palette today. And these you have to apply with your fingers. Possibly you could apply it with like a dense like concealer brush, but I just prefer the fingers. So the shades in these palettes have like a few different textures. They all have that like kind of hard cream texture, but they have different textures of the glitter. So these two shades here have more of like a finely milled glitter. I find that this one here is like a little bit chunkier, and then we have this one here which is like chunky glitter that's almost like foil. It's so unique. You almost need to experience this product. Like you need to touch it to be like, oh, okay, I know what she's talking about. But I'm gonna try to demonstrate it in the best way. So I'm going to start with, so I'm gonna start with this one, which is called Rosy. That's just this gorgeous rosy rose gold kind of a shade. So I'm just gonna dip my finger in there. Actually, I forgot to apply some concealer on my eyelids, or you can of course use a eyelid primer. I don't have any. The KOSAS concealer is amazing as an eyeshadow primer. It's just has the perfect stickiness. I'm going to apply a thin layer of this. Now where were we? So I've dipped my finger into the rosy shade and we're just gonna apply that kind of all over the lid. And it's so cool, it's almost like the more you rub it, the more the glitter comes out. Can you see that? Just, that gorgeous glitter. It's just so satisfying. Sometimes I will only use this one on my lid, like this and mascara, and I'm out the door. I am going to add a little more sparkle today though. Okay, and what I like to do when I've applied it is to just go in with a dry brush, just kind of in the edge, just fading it out a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I'm rubbing the edge here with the brush, it's like the color gets a little more faded and the glitter comes out even more. It's just, it's so cool, I love it. And then I'm going to dip into this chunky shade right here, Situation, and we're gonna apply that in the center of the lid. And this one is just, wow. I mean, can you see that? It's just like so freaking sparkly. It's literally like a foil. Like you just smear foil on your eyes. It's so cool. And then I use this one just to blend it a little more and like kind of activate the glitter. That's kind of what it feels like. Damn. Okay, I love that. I'm gonna do the same to the other eye. Okay, wow, I love that. Oh, this is so satisfying to me now, just because I've been missing the glam for so long. And I just, when it sparkles, I just go bananas. That's like generally me every like autumn, Christmas season. It's kind of like my makeup turns more natural, like more everyday, more basic, basically, in the spring and summer. And then after that, I'm just like, give me all the glitter, give me everything. I'm always like that, but even more so now when I've been like not wearing makeup for such a long time. How are you guys? Can you relate to that? Do you also have like seasons in your makeup preferences, or are you like always on the same track? Alright, let's apply some mascara. First I'm just going to bend my lashes. That sounded wrong. Curl my lashes. And after you curl your lashes, when wearing this eyeshadow, make sure to wipe it off. Otherwise, you might get some accidental glitter for your next makeup look. That has happened to me a few times. It's not terrible. It's always nice with some glitter, but if that's not the look you're going for, it can be kind of annoying. And then I'm going to go in with one of my favorite mascaras from ILIA. This is the Limitless Lash Mascara. They also came out with a new one that's for volume. I haven't tried that one, but I'm really curious about it, so I think I'm gonna order it. If you guys have tried that one, please let me know in the comments what you thought about it, because I usually don't reach for a volume mascara because I don't like when my lashes get like thick. I reach for something that has like length and definition. But from everything that I've seen online of the ILIA mascara, the volume mascara, I'm like, wow, okay, that looks gorgeous. So I am really curious to try it. So yeah, if you tried it, please let me know. I do need to get a new one of this one as well because it is getting a little dry. I mean, I have probably the most crazy mascara face ever. I cannot do the lower lashes without doing this face. Like, not even on camera, I can't. Also, when I do like the upper lashes, I tend to like stare like this. It's almost like I lift my lashes and then I blink it down. And I mean, it's a really nice technique. It works so well, but I look crazy. I will like zigzag the brush and then I will lift the lashes and close them. But everyone looks crazy. If you haven't tried it, try it. And let me know how it went. Okay, I got mascara absolutely everywhere. Then I'm going to do a little trick that I love doing. I'm gonna put a beige inliner on my lower waterline. Do you have an upper waterline? I mean, I guess you do, but on my lower waterline, this one is from Idun Minerals. It is the color Sand, and it's just like, it's like a beige liner. It's so good for just opening up the eyes and making them look big and doll-like. I know there are some inliners that are like pure white that are also intended for this, but it tends to look, in my opinion, a little too unnatural and just like, it's just like too intense. But this beige shade is just, it looks so natural. I mean, you see that difference? This eye is just much more open. Alrighty, we just need to do the lips and then we are done. I'm going to just scrub my lips with this towel. I always do that. Get the blood circulation going, get a little natural plump. I'm going to start by lining my lips. I have this lip pencil from Paulina. This is also a Swedish brand. They make mineral makeup that's so good. I haven't used like mineral powder in a long time, but when I did, the Paulina mineral powders are just like the best. I cannot use the mineral foundation powders from Bareminerals because they have this bismuth oxide something, not exactly sure what it's called, which tends to irritate the skin on a lot of people. But the Paulina products don't have that, and it's just, oh, they are gorgeous. I feel like talking about it, I need to order some of those. But they also have other stuff, and this lip liner is so gorgeous, stays in place all freaking day. It's perfect texture, it's like not too soft. I have some of those also, like the twist up lip liners that are really soft from other brands, but I kind of prefer like an old school that you sharpen yourself. They're a little harder, so I feel like you have more control. Let's stop talking, let's start lining. Oh man, how I've missed overlining my lips. It's like I do kind of a subtle overline, but it does such a huge difference. I'm just gonna fade this out a little bit because I'm not gonna be using any lipstick. I'm gonna apply gloss, but it's quite a unique gloss. So I have the Kiss My Liquid Lip Balm from Roen, and this is the shimmery version that they came out with not too long ago. You might know that I love the original version in the shade Charlie. That was like my go-to. Now I ran out of it like completely. I need to repurchase it, but I would wear that every single day. It's so good. And it's called lip balm, but it's definitely more of a gloss, but without that tacky, sticky texture. It's just very nourishing, but it looks like a gloss. And they're also like perfectly pigmented. So when they came out with these shimmery versions, I was so excited. I really like it, but it's definitely very different from the original formula. I'm just gonna swatch it on my hand. I have tried it. I haven't like used it like in a look. I haven't used it on top of a lip liner before, so we will kind of try this out together. So as you can see, it's actually quite pigmented, and maybe it's because of the glitter. It's almost like a little bit metallic, that it just has a different texture from the original one. This one feels like a liquid lipstick, basically. And of course it has some shine. It has the glitter, but it's not as shiny as the original gloss. Let's apply and see how it looks. It has that same mint scent like the original formula. Do you see what I mean? It's not like super glossy. It's more like, it has more of a sheen, which I think is mostly because of the glitter inside, not so much because of the glossiness. It's definitely more of a liquid lipstick in my opinion. So just know, if you're gonna get this, just know what you're getting, but it is stunning. It looks so good. It feels really comfortable on the lips, just like the original formula. It's not sticky at all. It's just and it feels hydrating. Alright guys, there is the final look. I feel more glamorous than I have done in a very long time. It's like the perfect glamorous but wearable kind of a look. I mean, anything is wearable, but if you're like me who don't really use like crazy colors and all of that, then this is like the perfect glam. I'm just gonna stare at myself in the mirror all day probably. I love how everything sparkles. I sparkle in my eyes, I sparkle on my lips. Let me know in the comments what you think about this look. I had so much fun recording this video and just playing with makeup, getting my fingers in the glitter, literally, and just glamming up while chit-chatting with the camera and with you guys. I feel a little bit out of practice, but I'm sure I will get into it very soon. And from now on, I will keep on uploading a video once a week. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you don't miss my next video. That was all for today. Take care of yourselves. I will see you in my next video, and until then, as always, stay glowy.